Good morning. I'm sitting in a very overgrown community garden reading. This is my view. It's still lovely, isn't it, with the sun? And I've been having a little chat with a lizard. It's so funny how they really pay attention and just like, oh, you see me. I'm sure he's probably figuring out how he could fit me in his mouth. But maybe not. So, hi, airplane. Scott Airplane. I'm reading Carl Jung, The Red Book, which is a publication of his own personal diaries. It was published many, many years after he passed away. And it's just kind of an insight into his unconscious mind and his psyche. You know, Jung is the one who coined the term synchronicity, and he also did a lot of work with the archetypes. And diving into dream symbolism and working with people regarding their dreams and trying to figure out what the subconscious mind is trying to communicate to us through our dreams through the use of archetypal symbols. And I had a dream last night about a very large, robust, rotund woman, like very much the shape of her body was like the fertility goddesses that you see, the statues of fertility goddesses. You know, it's comforting, it's nurturing, the mother archetype. So, you know, with everything that's been coming up for me around like anxiety and fear around survival and safety, of course, it makes sense to me that I'm dreaming about this archetype. But interestingly, so in the dream, she was there to comfort me, and she reclined on a couch and ushered me over and put my head on her bosom and was just, you know, caring for me emotionally and offering me a sense of safety and support, being motherly. But then very quickly she began speaking to me in a very seductive way and started speaking to me about my body and how attractive I was, and she got up and began to undress, and it was very clear to me at that point that she was using her body and the offer of warmth and a feeling of security. She was offering that only as a sort of way to bait me into getting what she wanted from me, which was to use me as an object sexually. And what I've been experiencing is very much tied to that sort of thing of feeling my entire life like I never got the support as a child. I was never given unconditional love and support and guidance. There was a lot of abuse and sexual abuse from family members. And like, I know I'm sharing a lot of personal things here, guys, but this is real. It's part of the human experience. And I'm not ashamed, and I don't think it's oversharing. I think sometimes you can overshare, but given my life experiences and what I've been through, particularly with the mental health system and therapists and psychiatrists, like, I have come to find that I'd rather share with my brothers and sisters openly and honestly and connect in this way and not do it behind closed doors because I'm ashamed or afraid that it's going to be used against me. It was used against me by the system. And anyways, where was I going with this? That was a nice tangent. Yeah, so just that started early for me, and it has been the case my entire life, this finding myself in this scenario, because I think when you're wounded that early in that way, it sets you up for this dynamic, because it's what you are used to, therefore it's what you're comfortable with, it's what you know. And also, not if you don't have a support system, predators see that, and they see that you're already wounded and you're vulnerable in that way. And it has just, like, you know, I'm 40, about to be 43 next month. And as late as 40 years old, I was groomed by a man that I worked for. This power dynamic was used against me. I was working for someone, therefore, you know, my livelihood was tied into my relationship with this person. It was supposed to be a professional relationship, and it was until it wasn't. So, you know, I worked for this person, and they knew how much money I was making. They knew that my income was dependent upon working that job. Like, they could take it away from me, okay? And my social circle was tied into that job, like so many things. And this person had become my friend, I thought, and offered me the job because of the friendship, you know. And so knew my background, knew that I didn't have a strong support system, and then used all of that information once I had become entangled or entwined financially, to then say, you know, I can take this all away from you. Basically, you're nothing without me. I was talked to in this way while being sexually harassed, while this man put his hands on me, and I broke. Like, I had a breakdown because of it, because I thought, well, I was finally getting somewhere in my life, you know, like, I had finally, at 40, it took me that long because of what I had to overcome from my childhood with no support, which I don't feel sorry for myself. This is many people, and this is why I'm talking openly about it, because we need to recognize that there are many people in this situation in this world. It's an epidemic. There are a lot of people who have been groomed and abused and manipulated and treated as objects and exploited, and basically, if you look around you, you'll see that our economy sort of runs on that. So, where I find myself now after the spiral that sent me into, which ended up leading me into like taking medications for anxiety and depression, being hospitalized in mental institutions because of the horrendous side effects I was having. I talked about that yesterday. You know, I went through all of that because of, ultimately, I was wounded at a very young age by the very people that I was supposed to be able to rely on for my physical needs, my emotional needs, for safety. I was attacked by those people and wounded by those people, and it set me up for a lifetime of further predation. And I never talked about this until I came out of what I just came out of, and and basically went to my own personal hell and came out of it with the help of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ saved me. And now I live my life for Christ. So I'm not afraid to look crazy. I'm not afraid to be ostracized. All of that already happened to me. And this is what is needed. This is medicine, I believe, to speak the truth and not be ashamed, because we're all kept silent, and that's how it goes on. So anyways, I just wanted to share that, that I had the stream last night, and I feel like this is an issue for a lot of people. Like, one of the things it led to for me was not being able to trust help, or just trust in general, that anyone's kindness was actually real and they weren't just wanting something from me, you know. And I have a little bit of that, of like, it's hard for me to trust people. I mean, understandably. I'm sure most people have a hard time in this world really trusting other people, because we see how things are set up. Everything's a scam. Not everything, but like, people go to school, they go to college, and basically learn how to psychologically manipulate people in order to make financial gains. There's a lot of that going on. And we're all immersed in that culture. We're all indoctrinated into that culture. And then we wonder why we're being preyed upon and manipulated and scammed. Like, that's what we're all taught to do to one another. And it has to stop. If we have any hope of being healthy and going on as a species that is not completely insane and psychopathic and diabolic, I don't know if that's a word, diabolical. I'm having trouble right now. But I think it all starts with just speaking our truth, being real, letting go of the fear of being ashamed or ostracized or any of those things, because what happens to you when you don't speak is even worse than that. You find yourself surrounded by people who are fake and that you can't trust and do want to prey upon you. At least when you speak the truth, predators know that you're a person who speaks the truth, and that in and of itself is like, you know, kind of like light to a vampire. It's like they want to stay away. They're afraid of that. This is what I found. Okay. I'm finding more and more that I am connecting with real people. Real meaning people who aren't afraid to share their human experiences, or people who don't judge me for being a person who has lived a real life and been traumatized and been harmed by this world, and like the people who don't judge me for that. I'm finding these people now, but it's because I'm speaking the truth about my lived experience, and it's keeping, for the most part, I feel like it's helping to keep predatory people at bay, because they see like, oh, she's not the one to mess with because she will call me out. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that because the last 2 days I've been very upset, and I posted a few videos that I think probably have raised a little bit of concern for people. But this is part of the process of healing and living and being real, is going through these things, and I think we don't see it enough. It's hidden and it's pathologized, and that's a problem. So I was saying yesterday, like, what can we do, guys? What can we do to change things for the better? I think I actually am doing something with this channel. Like, is this the answer to everything? No, but I think it's part of the solution. you know, accepting ourselves, embracing ourselves fully, and being raw, you know. It's okay to cry sometimes. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be anxious. Like, these are not things to be suppressed or denied or ashamed of. We need to let these things move through us. Because if you don't, it gets bottled up and it turns into dis-ease and mental illness, ultimately. So, that's all I have to say about that. I hope everyone has a wonderful, beautiful day. And I'm gonna continue to sit here and bask in this beauty.